Beth Hiley here for Board Game Geek TV at Gen Con 2014. I'm sitting down once again with Kimberly Tolson of Asmodee Games.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because I just screwed up her name the time before. But you have a little announcement here for Timeline, which is a game that's been out for some time. For some time.
We're full of puns today.
Yeah. But what is different about these guys?
Okay, so we've got, I think, 6 other versions of Timeline.
Just 6?
There's just 6. But it's the theme again. So they've got Americana and American History as our 2 new ones coming out in September. So they just offer, again, if you've seen Timeline before, it just has all of the cards. Front side, of course, is the side you play with, and then it's got the date on the back side with really great artwork. So, if you remember how it works, 1 goes in the center, that's the beginning of the timeline. Flip it over. 1787 is our start date.
For the Constitution of the United States?
Yes. So, when you play, you look at your cards. You don't know the dates necessarily, unless you're a super buff of all of these particular themes. And your job is to fit one of your cards on your turn into the timeline. Either your card goes earlier in time, from 1787, or later in time. You can imagine as the game continues and successful cards are placed, there are more and more gaps that you have to squeeze your time into, your card into. So it becomes harder and harder as the game goes on. So if I were to do mine, as a safe bet.
I gotta say, you have harder ones than I do.
Do I mine hard?
Yes.
So, as a safe bet, I would probably put Michael Phelps wins 8 gold medals at the Olympics after the Constitution of the United States.
Likewise, now mine's a little bit...
So, wait, I flipped, hang on.
Oh, yes.
I flip it over to make sure I'm right.
Yeah.
So now our gap is before 1787, after, but before 2008, and then there's time after 2008. So now we have 3 gaps.
Now mine's a little tricky because I have end of the War of 1812, so I know it has to be at least after 1812. So pretty confident to say it is between the gap of 1787 and 2008,
Let's check.
which indeed it's 1815. So.
Nice. So, if you keep going around the table in clockwise order and everyone gets theirs correct, it stays on the timeline. If someone places a card incorrectly and they flip it over and find out, this doesn't fit right here, they would then discard their card and draw a new one to replace it. The point of the game is to get rid of all of your cards first. Everyone gets a fair chance, so if I placed one correctly, and it went to you and went around, and I placed another one correctly, you would still get a chance to place your last one correctly, and then essentially it's just a timeline off who can mess up first. And then that's kind of like the tiebreaker. You get a certain amount of cards based on the amount of players, and you go from there. And again, get rid of your cards first.
Now I gotta ask, just American history. That's pretty easy. But what exactly would Americana encompass?
Americana, as I can see right here, it's got a lot of the symbols that we've seen before with our timeline games. It's got music, film, athleticism, and inventions. Those are all of our symbols that match our previous themes. So I imagine that Americana, after having looked at the cards, is just anything that's American related.
Of those genres, yeah.
Exactly. So this is kind of like just a big old melting pot of America, right?
Which isn't that sort of what America's all about anyway?
I think so.
Well, Kimberly, thanks again. We had mentioned these are going to be available in September,
Absolutely.
and literally, I mean, we just played around right there, so
Perfect.
easy
Fast,
to pick up.
Fun, and you learn. You just learn.
She's got it.
I'm a teacher. You learn. It's great. No, it's fun to play with people too.
Well, and Kimberly, thanks again for stopping by, and check
Absolutely.
us out next month.
Awesome.